YNW Melly's world was shaken today after a judge officially denied his bond, dashing hopes of a release before his upcoming retrial. Florida rapper will remain behind bars until proceedings resume in September. Melly has already spent 6 years incarcerated while fighting charges that he murdered 2 of his former friends, YNW Juvie and YNW Sack Chaser, back in 2018. The latest ruling comes as a blow to both Melly and his family, who were optimistic about his release, especially after one of the 6 charges had previously been approved for bond, giving them a glimmer of hope. Even his mother had publicly expressed her belief that freedom was near.
Just still praying. I know. I said I would I'll keep everybody updated with what's happening. I know right now we're waiting. So basically, the judge didn't do, I guess, a written order. So we're just waiting, and that order can come any minute, or it could come tomorrow. I don't know. So we're just waiting. We're just waiting. So everybody just keep praying, keep having faith. Oh, Tessa, I've been crying too. It's been a long time coming.
It was recently announced that YNW Melly was granted bond on one of the 6 charges he faced after spending 2,295 days behind bars without bond or a conviction, even following a previous mistrial. Many believed his release was finally near. However, prosecutors took a controversial turn by striking deals with 2 key figures from Melly's past: his ex-girlfriend Mariah Hamilton and his longtime friend YNW Bortland. Mariah had been out of the country since before Melly's original trial. She was expected to testify against him, but never appeared in court, which led to her being considered a fugitive for several years. Her sudden reappearance and cooperation with the prosecution now raised serious questions about the direction of the retrial.
Mariah Hamilton is spending her first day at the Broward County Jail. She has no arrest record until now. U.S. Border Patrol agents arrested her at Miami International Airport Monday after she arrived on an international flight. Court records show Hamilton was ordered to testify in Demon's first trial in 2023.
In a shocking turn, the judge struck a deal with Mariah Hamilton: testify against YNW Melly, and she'd be free to go. She accepted without hesitation, a devastating blow for Melly and his legal team. Shortly after, Mariah took to Facebook, writing, "Thank you to my village. Love you all so much. God's plan, not mine." Her decision came after prosecutors uncovered disturbing evidence from her iCloud account, allegedly showing that Melly pressured her not to testify during the original trial, a serious charge of witness tampering. Under Florida law, that alone carries the potential for a life sentence, regardless of whether Melly is found guilty of the murders of YNW Juvie and YNW Sack Chaser.
State filing 6 new charges against Demons and 2 others who were allegedly involved. The charges include tampering with a witness, directing the activities of a criminal, solicitation or conspiracy to commit tampering, and unlawful use of a 2-way communication device. Now, a couple of those charges actually carry a life in prison sentence if there's a conviction.
The witness tampering case is now being treated separately from YNW Melly's ongoing double murder trial involving the deaths of YNW Juvie and YNW Sack Chaser. The tampering allegations stem from recorded jail phone calls where Melly is accused of trying to influence key witnesses. As a result, he's been barred from using phones for a significant amount of time. The situation has grown so extreme that his mother, Jamie King, spoke out publicly in an interview, exposing conditions at the county jail and raising concerns about how her son is being treated behind bars.
My son has not been convicted of anything, and even other inmates that have been convicted or anything, they have the right to use a telephone. They have a right to be allowed to write letters to their loved ones, to receive their mail. They hold his mail. They don't give it to him.
If the evidence is legitimate, showing that YNW Melly used jail phones to tamper with witnesses, he could be facing a life sentence, regardless of the outcome of the original murder trial. Authorities likely have that evidence securely stored, as cutting off an inmate's phone access without cause is illegal. Their decision to restrict Melly's phone privileges strongly suggests they believe they have proof of his involvement, but the situation continues to spiral. Prosecutors are now attempting to avoid another mistrial by turning to YNW Bortlen. They've submitted paperwork to have Melly and Bortlen tried together in the upcoming retrial. The reason behind this move is strategic. By linking their cases, the prosecution may be aiming to strengthen their argument and prevent inconsistencies that could lead to yet another collapsed trial.
Here, and you try them together. It is to the benefit of the state to try them together, just more efficient. You don't have to do things again and again. Do it all at once, and also get a better chance of having them incriminate each other during the trial. It benefits the defense to sever it. That way they can point the finger at each other and get away with it. So this is what's going on. But I don't think it should be automatically severed because the state is seeking a penalty for Melly, because it's only the penalty phase of the trial that would be different, not the guilt phase. The guilt phase is the same. They're both capital crimes. We're seeking the penalty on one, not the other, but that goes into the second part of the trial, the penalty phase, only if Melly is found.
If YNW Bortlen knows he didn't commit the crime, it's unlikely he'll be able to sit next to YNW Melly in court and silently accept a life sentence. The pressure could push him to point the finger at Melly and finally speak the truth. What many don't realize is that Melly's own legal team already tried to shift blame onto Bortlen during the first trial. That move created a major rift between the two, and it's the reason they haven't spoken since.
Were his lives. Courtroom Henry shows up at Memorial Hospital, Miramar. You don't see him sitting there, but where you will see him sitting is in the driver's seat of the car. Two bodies, car, riddled with bullets. When he shows up with a change of clothing, change of shirt, powder residue on his hands, evidencing that he had discharged his firearm. And he lies. He lies about where the incident occurred. He lies about how it occurred. And he lies about not having the phone. I think it was Miss Bradley herself who said, everybody has a phone in the pocket, not Courtland Henry.
During the trial, Melly's own lawyer told the jury that it was always YNW Bortlen who had been lying to federal investigators. According to the defense, Bortlen was the one who had gunpowder residue on his hands, and he was also the last person seen with YNW Sackchaser and YNW Juvie before their deaths. To support this claim, the defense even brought in a forensic expert who had examined the scene. The expert testified in detail about the presence of residue on Bortlen, casting further suspicion his way.
So the right hand of Courtland Henry contained 0 particles characteristic of pot residue and two component particles, and the left hand contained 1 particle characteristic of pot residue and 1 2-component particle.
And can you explain to us what that means?
Basically, overall, there was pot residue present on the hands.
YNW Bortlen didn't take kindly to being thrown under the bus. In fact, he hasn't spoken on social media since a cryptic tweet he posted on the same day YNW Melly's mistrial was announced. The tweet read, "Mind games don't work on people like me," followed by a handshake emoji, leading many to speculate he may have accepted a deal behind the scene. In response to the recent setbacks, Melly's legal team is now planning to appeal the judge's decision to deny bond. This gives them an opportunity to repackage their evidence and present it to the court once more in hopes of securing Melly's release ahead of the retrial.
You saw Melly's statement just saying how he's been hurt, how he's scared for his life. As a mother, how did that make you feel?
It's heartbreaking. It made me feel completely helpless. Broward Sheriff's Office definitely needs to be investigated. I mean, they are making up their own rules. We tried to go to court about this situation. The judge really doesn't have any jurisdiction when it comes to the jail, because we actually had a hearing about the mistreatment of him, and the jail they make their own rules. And I don't think that's fair because I know that they need to answer to someone too.
Here's how Melly's legal team should approach. In their bond proposal, his attorneys already suggested that his label, 300 Entertainment, would cover an unspecified bond amount. They also promised that, if released, Melly would be placed on house arrest, wear an ankle monitor, and be monitored by 24/7 private security, measures designed to guarantee he won't be a flight risk. These terms should absolutely remain in their bond package, but there's more they should include. Melly's team ought to present a recent interview with his mother, Jamie King, in which she claims her son is not being treated like a human while in custody. If true, these conditions could violate his basic rights, and highlighting them in court could strengthen their argument for release.
The part he's saying that someone just shut the car up and was trying to shoot him. So I asked him if he was okay, where he was, and he's like, there's a car coming behind him, and I'm hiding. He was like, there's some, there's some, I think they're still out here or something. So I'm like, are you okay? He's like, I'm okay. I said, well, where are Sam and Juby? And he said, I don't know if they're in the car. I think they're...
Melly's legal team would also be wise to reintroduce key evidence from the original trial, specifically GPS data that tracked Melly's movements during the time of the crime. According to his lawyers, the data shows Melly running down a street and hiding in a bush while the alleged drive-by shooting was taking place. They argue this proves he was actually trying to avoid the gunfire, not participating in it, and that he